for summary disposition. I think we do have a threshold issue, though. I want to hear from both sides on this. It appears that this is a file that was transferred by order of Judge Elsenheimer in the 13th Circuit, transferred jurisdiction to this case. But in reviewing the file, it's my understanding, Mr. Soloway, that you're challenging personal jurisdiction, or you did, of the 13th Circuit Court, and that are you challenging the jurisdiction of this court as well, even though the file's been transferred here?
Absolutely.
You argued that in the 13th Circuit, but that continues to be your position even in here in the 46th Circuit. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so Mr. Sarhan, in my view, that's a threshold issue that the court would have to determine before passing on your motion for summary disposition, but what's your view on that?
Well, yes, Your Honor, and the defendant was personally served at that Fife Lake, or the Lund Road address in Fife Lake, by personal service, which was determined to be, I believe, in the 46th Circuit Court. So we then, after determining that, the venue was transferred and the defendant was personally served in October of last year at that Fife Lake address, and the jurisdiction was then transferred over to the proper venue. So personal service was effectuated and transferred over to the proper court, which we learned was the 46th Circuit. Personal service remains intact.
Okay, so Mr. Holloway, what's your response to that argument?
Just because I happen to be somewhere doesn't make me a resident. Doesn't give Calcasieu County any jurisdiction. He hasn't shown anything that says that I am a resident of Calcasieu County. In fact, I have a Mississippi driver's license and I vote in Mississippi.
Okay, do you dispute that you were served with the summons and complaint on July 7th, 2024 at 2:59 p.m. at Lund Road in Fife Lake, Michigan?
No, I don't.
Okay, all right. Mr. Sarhan, what's your response to Mr. Soloway's argument?
Well, and Your Honor, by Mr. Soloway acknowledging the fact that he was personally served at that time, delivering a summons and complaint to the defendant personally, I mean that personal service is effectuated when the defendant is left with documents in their physical control after being offered and then being informed about their contents. That's Barclay versus Crown Building. The defendant was served. That was his residence that we had, the documents were given to him. At the time it was in the 13th Circuit Court. The defendant's argument was, it is not the 13th Circuit Court because this is where I was personally served with these documents. At that last, there was no change of address nor any other address. The last confirmed address that the defendant was where he was given physical possession of those documents, which he signed for. That is the jurisdiction, that is the proper jurisdiction as of now.
Well, he's making an assumption, and the 13th District made an assumption that it was all about the 13th District. It never was about the 13th District. It was all about me being someone from Mississippi and not from Grand Traverse County. They never clarified that. We are clarifying it today.
So as to the question of whether or not this court has jurisdiction over Mr. Soloway, the court points to MCL 600.701, subsection 1, presence in the state at the time when process is served. So as the file indicates, Mr. Soloway was served with process personally in Fife Lake, Michigan, within Calcasieu County on July 7th of 2024 at 2:59 p.m. So therefore, jurisdiction under 600.701 is satisfied as he was present in the state when he was served with process in this case. So the court denies Mr. Soloway's motion to dismiss. Mr. Sarhan, we can proceed with your motion for summary disposition. Mr. Soloway, do you have any argument regarding Mr. Sarhan's motion for summary disposition?
Well, Your Honor, I would like to adjourn this and take the time to answer is I was prepared to deal with jurisdiction, so I did not take the time to deal with all of the other issues.
All right, Mr. Soloway, I'm not going to grant you any kind of extension. The motion for summary disposition was filed in a timely manner. You were provided notice with the hearing of today. So if you have any arguments to make, now is the time to make them.
I'm not prepared to make any arguments at this time.
Then the court finds that pretty clear to me based on the documents submitted in support of that motion that there was a valid contract that was entered into between Mr. Soloway and the Bank of America. He did fail to make payments as required. The court finds Bank of America is entitled to judgment against Mr. Soloway for